Okay, I'm on. We're going to go ahead and start with some gathering music, even though we still have people out there. We're going to use the Faith We Sing. So find Faith We Sing in your pews ahead of you. They may be hiding behind a Bible, the Faith We Sing. And we're going to start with Come and Find the Quiet Center, number 2128. So we'll let Jan just play it for a little bit as people start gathering. Musicians right here in front of me, so please help. We are called 2172, and we'll do all three verses on this one. One of our really favorite United Women of Faith songs, I think. 2172, you have it on the screen, so those who come in later will know. I wasn't on board here. Okay, come open your heart, show your mercy to all those in need. We are called to be for the homeless, so hatred and kindness, leaving no today, and we really appreciate her doing that for us, Jan Bothran. Okay, just one page over, 2173. Shine, Jesus, shine. And one of the things we love about this sanctuary is that at this time of day, the sun just shines in here. One of our former pastors used to say, "You look like you all have halos." So, shine, Jesus, shine. Oh, verses 1 and 2 on this one.
Thank you, Barb and Jan. That was a lovely way to start our morning. I would invite you into a spirit of prayer with me as we say, or I will lead us in the midweek prayer from the prayer guide for 2023. I thought it was very fitting for our time together today. So please join me in a spirit of prayer. God of grace, help us to focus you and you alone as we set priorities to commit to service. May we always face you and reflect your love. In the name of the one we follow. Amen. And that was brought to us by Sharon McCart, a deaconess for the Disability Ministries Task Force for the CalPAC Annual Conference. So, welcome to the historic St. Paul's United Methodist Church in Cedar Rapids. I am Linda Blazek-Garvin, Iowa Conference Vice President, and on behalf of the conference leadership team, I want to say that we are glad you are here. So we have a full day planned. You've seen the agenda. We're going to do some meeting of the conference officers or conference leadership team. We are going to have some, we're going to listen to a report of our Alaska mission trip. along with some breakouts later this morning. And then we will have lunch, and we'll gather back here for our business meeting, followed by recognition of outgoing conference leadership team, installation of incoming, along with affirmation of Mission U Core, and then we will conclude the day with communion. We will hope to get all that done by 2:45, 3 o'clock. We'll see what happens. So I want to acknowledge that we are not the first people on this land. We stand on land that was once inhabited by the Iowa, Sauk, and Fox tribes. The Iowa was led by White Cloud, and then the Sauk and Fox were led by Black Hawk. And so in the infamous words of my high school history teacher, for those who do not know history are condemned to repeat it. I'm going to turn over to Reverend Jonathan Hefner to offer a few words of welcome, and then Kate Broker will follow him with some logistics of how to get around this wonderful building.
Thank you. Well, it is a delight to be here for just a moment or two. I'm Reverend Jonathan Hefner. I'm the lead pastor here at St. Paul's. I believe in what you all do. I'm grateful for what you do. I'm glad you're here. And on behalf of our congregation, I would offer a welcome to each of you gathering here today. I hope your travels have been good, and I know that the time you spend here will be as well. I know Kate will talk about logistics, but I also would mention if you have any questions throughout the day, folks who have ribbons and on with their name tag, ask them. They'll be able to help. There are folks who are coming from St. Paul's. So with all of that being said, I would invite Kate to come. And I will be back with you later today. But welcome.
Thank you, Pastor Jonathan. I don't know, some of you have discovered that you're in, this is kind of a well-known building designed by Louis Sullivan. So we have lots of visitors from around the world that come. So enjoy it while you're here. Some of you have been here before and some of you not. But so Barb asked me to welcome you today, and I certainly do that. I told her, I said, you're our unit president, though. Shouldn't you be doing that? And she said, well, I'm leading the singing. If you'd rather do that, that's fine. Believe me, you're glad I picked this, so welcome. I wanted to tell you where things are, and so you'll find restrooms. You've probably already discovered them on this floor, this direction. On the lower level, when you go downstairs for lunch and for a breakout room, they're that direction on the lower hallway, and there are also restrooms on third floor if you're going up to the upper room gallery for a breakout session, or just go up there and see the artwork and stuff. Actually, Stephanie Hefner has some artwork on the wall up there. You might want to take a look at all of that. So, anything else you need to know? Now breakout rooms, you'll find signs that will direct you with arrows and everything. Some are way at that end. The music center is way at that end. There's a sign that will direct you there. And the same with the lower level and the upper level. Just follow the arrows. If you go to the upper level on the elevator, when the door opens, you're there. And if you go downstairs, just turn left, and everything that you'll need is to the left downstairs. This floor, it's kind of both ends. So, okay. So thanks for being here, and we'll enjoy your day.
Thank you. I do have a video from our new General Secretary, CEO, Sally Vonner, to play. So, Gail, if you're ready.
United Women in Faith and guests, I greet you in faith, hope, and love as you celebrate today. Let me begin by thanking you for your support and outpouring of love through notes, calls, giving, and attending the installation service for me as the new General Secretary and CEO. I am excited to be on the journey with you. I have been praying for all the annual meetings. Many of you are celebrating 50 years and others 50 plus years in mission. Congratulations. Thank you for all the ways you have shown up to inspire, influence, and impact local and global communities. Today, let us be thankful to Jesus and each other for all we have accomplished over the years, especially last year as we launched the new name and brand. I am so proud of how you moved through the shift, navigating banking accounts, creating your t-shirts and swag, and celebrating the launch at Assembly. We have felt the energy from the local to every level of the organization. As you celebrate, rejoice in the accomplishments you achieved locally. And remember, we have a legacy to continue. God is not done with us. Women, children, and youth need us more than ever, as does the church, as we work through this challenging time of disaffiliations. The reality is that our predecessor organization lived through similar challenges and kept their eyes and hearts focused on their call from God through faith, hope, and love to work towards a beloved community where all God's children can flourish, can experience shalom, wellness, and well-being. A place where we are as concerned about the justice and well-being of those oppressed and marginalized as we are about ourselves. If there is any consolation that I can give you, it is that we must keep believing that love in action can change the world. Hope is important too. Without hope, we stop dreaming new dreams, seeing possibilities amid challenges, or looking for God's movement among us. I hope you know that God is always doing a new thing. Just ask anyone among you that may have been at the first annual celebration 50 years ago. They have seen much change and through it all witnessed a sisterhood that still equips women to be leaders, to act for justice, to grow in their faith and fellowship, and impact lives around the world. Let us not grow weary in doing good. Keep believing. Faith is also important. It is our faith in God and the support of each other that we keep showing up to serve God's people locally and globally. Faith helps us believe what we are hoping for will happen at some point. We are blessed because our foremothers hoped that women 154 years later would carry the mantle of mission. So they put their love in action by giving of themselves, showing up and speaking up in the church and society. Stepping up and making sure women, children, and youth lives were transformed through their giving, advocating, and leading. Let us not grow weary as present and future generations are depending on us to carry the mantle of mission, putting our love into action for them. I hope you leave this annual meeting celebration inspired and hopeful for our future. I will be praying for you and ask that you pray for me, that we too will show up, speak up, and step up through our giving, advocating, and leading in the church and beyond. May it be so. God bless you.
Hi, they said I'm supposed to use this, so I will. I followed directions from anybody but my husband, if you asked him. Okay, I'm Doris Strait, your spiritual growth coach. Good morning, it's a pleasure to be here. And to feed the calves. So I can just imagine how. And I'm thrilled. I'd like to thank Stephanie Hefner, who is our local representative. Would you wave? Local spiritual growth, and she's going to help me with our lead out session a little bit later. And if you have any questions or anything, ask her, and she'll relay any messages to me this afternoon. Okay, the devotions today I based on our theme, Living the Good News, Reflecting God's Love. Mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the fairest of them all? I bet you've heard that, haven't you? And how many of you have used a mirror this morning? Is there anybody who can honestly say they haven't? I don't see any hands. But you know, there's all kinds of mirrors. Down memory lane, remember these? The beautiful compact, and they tried to find one. Remember, they used to even have little mirrors that went on your lipstick case. So dates me. Probably this one dates me any more. Little Bo Peep. Remember these? We sure have them. We wouldn't be, and now, as down through memory lane and aging, now I have to use the mirror, but then I have to turn it over and use the one that's 5 times greater. So we all use our mirrors. But you know, it's interesting, and I was thinking about it when I was doing research. When we look in the mirror, we see a reflection. We never, ever see our true face, you know. And everybody else does. God sees it. Everyone else, you guys see my face, but I've never really seen my true face. And maybe that's good. And you know, I think we don't realize that we're on display all the time. And our reflection, I hope we're reflecting God's love, but sometimes it may be good times and bad times. Because I can remember one time teaching family and consumer science, or for us older ones, home ec. We always made Valentine's. Anybody ever been in FHA? Yeah. We always made Valentine's sugar cookies, and the kids would buy them, and we'd deliver them to their secret, you know, person. Well, announcements, you know, we got out of school at 3, we were going to deliver them, and we were baking and decorating. PA comes on at noon and says, we are dismissing because of snow at 1 o'clock. And the girls looked at me and they said, Mrs. Stray, how on the earth, how's come you're so calm when we got to get all this work done before it delivered? And I said, you know, I leave it to God. I remember that, you know, trust in God. He'll get us through. But there's been bad times in my life too. I still have my hairdresser's daughter. Every time I see her, she says, Mrs. Strait, you yelled at me in class. And for the sake of me, I don't remember what it was, but she was putting some ingredient in, and I probably said, no, not right now. And she, to this day, remembers that. And I think about, you know, how unconsciously I never thought of it being a negative reflection, but it was. So think, you know, God knows we're not perfect. And I think as we live our lives, we try but we may make mistakes, but God loves us anyhow. And I read the following quotes. You can always tell when someone has been beholding the glory of God. He or she mirrors the Lord's own character. And that's something I'm striving for every morning, every day. And I hope all of us are on that faith journey, and probably more so than me. Then our October Bible verse, 22 to 23. Because of the Lord's great love, we are not consumed, for his compassions never fail. They are new every morning. Great is your faithfulness. God doesn't promise us a life free of disappointments, but his never failing love sees us through, and it gives us hope and joy to live a good life. And I love that. And that's the good news, and I hope I enjoy living those good news, and I hope you do too. But how do we give an accurate reflection of God in our world? I read through 5 little things. Every teacher has their little points. You know, you got to write down that lesson plan book. 1, spend time with Jesus. The more time we spend in intimate fellowship with him, the more his likeness will be transferred in our lives. And invite the Holy Spirit to change you from the inside out. Galatians 5:22 to 23. But the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-love, and love for Jesus. Somehow the typewriter didn't type right at 11 o'clock last night. Oh, God. 3, cultivate a genuine interest in other people. So, knowing ladies, we always come to a meeting and we sit by the people we know, right? I got a challenge for you. I want you, if you can, stand up. Stand up. Turn around and say hi to that person and say, I'm glad you're here today. Okay, time's up. Orlando will be on my case. Now you may sit down. Yeah, I did that because I want to challenge you sometime today. Meet up with that person and say, hey, I'm really glad you're here today, and you've brought joy to my life, getting to know you even better. And that's cultivating a general interest in people. And I think about one incident, walking the streets, this was a few years ago, downtown Chicago, and I saw this panhandler or homeless person, and I smiled at him. And unbeknownst, as I walked by him, he says, ma'am, thank you for smiling at me and recognizing me. And that stuck with me. So every morning when the kids would come in, I'd try to be at the door every class and say, hey, glad you're here. And I'm glad each and every one of you are here or on line. 4th, be available. Do take time for others. And 5, give God all the glory. To be more like Jesus, we need to keep God in the center of our lives. And something powerful happens when we focus our hearts on God. Spending time each day in his presence. Kent Hughes described it this way. Our lives are like photographic plates, and prayer is a time exposure to God. The more we expose ourselves to God, the more his image is imprinted upon us, and the more our lives will reflect his love. And as each of you came in, hopefully you got a little mirror. If you look at that little mirror, right now the image is kind of blurred. You have to take the top layer off. And, you know, our lives don't always reflect exactly what's in our heart. That mirror is not 100% accurate. But when you get home, what I'd like you to do is take the covering off the back side and paste it to a mirror. I have mine in my bathroom mirror, so every morning I can see that and remind me to living the good news and also reflecting God's love. And I'd like to close with whatever you do, work at it with all your heart as working for the Lord, not the human masters, from Colossians 3:23. As believers, we are God's children. No one's perfect, but there is grace. We're the only reflection of our Heavenly Father that some people will ever see. We put forth our best effort. We remember to represent God to the world. Our Christian's character should be a positive reflection of God. If you will join me in a closing prayer. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for giving us the good news so that we can live the good news. And help us today and every day to represent you well through all we do. I want to reflect your love in all I do. And may you be with us and help us to make decisions to reflect your love to everyone we meet. Thank you, dear Lord. Amen.
I don't think people figured out I would know who I was, so I have several name tags. All say the same name, so I presume that's who I am. I'm Marilyn Birch. I am the person that does program resources. I have a table out there. Actually, it's 2 tables filled with books, and it's been busy today. So I have the reading report. I never did get contact from Golden Valley. So Golden Valley, I apologize. I don't have anything for you. If you let me know, I'll be glad to get it out. Aldersgate. Aldersgate had 3 people who did a level 4, 2 that did level 3, and we'll just do those. But I will tell you that there was a lot of reading in his town, his state. Camp Clear Lake has 1 level 4, but they also had, and I'm going to do this, I tell people that say, what about these people who don't fill out a whole plan? And I say, let me know. I hate to read. I haven't read like I used to since my husband died. But what I read is just as important as those who read a level 4. And so I'm going to honor Garner, who had 14 people that read 40 books, and Peters, that had 2 people that read 7 books. Pictured Rock, Cedar had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 level 4s, and 1 level 3. Riverview Park had 2 level 4s, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 level 3s. And then Riverview Park had also, Knoxville had 1 that did not quite make the plan. I'm hoping they have until next year or the year after. I mean, you get 5 years total to make the 4-year plan, or make a plan. But I want you to encourage, even if somebody says, well, I can't read that much, to encourage them to read at least 1 or 2. Now, I have a promotion up here, because that's part of what I do. What I did is I brought 5 books in here for me. These are all youth books. We love to buy the children's books. We love the pictures. We love the stories. They're easy to read. We love to buy the adult books. They challenge our minds. They challenge our spirits. Sometimes we let the youth kind of slide. And that's from, this is my 3rd year of selling books, and the youth kind of slides. This first one is Kids Fight Climate Change. And so this is for your youth that are interested in climate change, or your youth group that wants to study more about it. Other Words for Home. It's a Newbery book. This is a young girl that went from Syria to Cincinnati. How many know who George Takei is? If you watch Star Wars, you should know who George Takei is. Star Trek. If you watch Star Trek, you should know who George Takei is. I'm sorry. He wrote a book. It's called They Called Us Enemy. George Takei, when he was a child, spent part of his youth in a concentration camp in the United States. And that really sounds odd coming out. But we had concentration camps in the United States. And this is a graphic novel. So this is a good one for youth to read too. Who is Florence Price? This is a book about a young girl who, my memory is gone. That's why I have more than one name tag. This is about a little girl who does music, and it'd be good for if you have children, youth, that are into music. The final one is an accompaniment to an adult reading book on the list. And it's called Braiding Sweetgrass. And this is about indigenous people and how they have lived, and a lot we can learn from them. So there's 5 books for youth, 1 in each category. I'd suggest if you don't get it here that you go online and order them. And if you have a youth group, maybe you could start a reading plan for the youth and start getting them reading. And remember, if you have people who say, well, I can't do a full reading plan, it doesn't matter. We're not doing it for the competition. We're doing it for the education. Thank you. Next. Oh, I have to click it? Oh, you want me to? Yeah.
So I'll put on a different hat. This is, I'm doing the report for education and interpretation for the conference. And of course, one of our ways of learning how our units are doing across the conference is our Mission Today report. There's a form that is available as a hard copy, printed copy. I have some of them out on a table out here for this coming year. And they also are available online, and you put them out in your newsletters, and we thank you for that. All units are invited to submit the report in June, and it gives us a snapshot of how our units are doing across the conference. I'm happy to report that our district E&I received approximately 150 reports this year. That's not everybody. Not everybody is turning in reports, but it gives us a good look at what's happening. They're telling us we have active and committed United Women in Faith all across. our conference. So I've got some slides to share with you because I've got some figures to share. We organize our reporting around the 4 tenets of our purpose. And so this is some good news related to our spiritual growth that we're managing in our conference. Virtually 100% of our units are using devotions at each meeting. Now, we wouldn't be surprised at that, but it's really good to hear that that's an important piece of every meeting that our United Women in Faith are gathering for. 91%, you'll like this, Doris, 91% of those reporting said that they are using the conference Bible verses. And I was at a unit just this week. I shepherded a unit, and yes, indeed, that's how they started their meeting. So I'm really happy to know that. Doris collects those from the spiritual growth, the district spiritual growth chairpersons, and there's a Bible verse for each month that we all are focusing on across the conference. And the other thing is that more than 2/3 of those units that reported are sponsoring Bible studies for their women. Yeah, I think this is terrific news. I really do. In terms of the membership nurture and outreach, we are really good at developing creative and supporting fellowship. So I'm sure this is a larger number, but of those reporting, a third have grown in membership. 53 of those 150 units reported adding at least one new member, and I think one of the units reported 4 members, and I'm sure there are even more. We can attract new women by our creative supportive fellowship, caring for and encouraging one another in our personal lives. So keep up the good work at this, Iowa United Women in Faith units. We have a lot of potential for attracting new women when they hear that we do amazing things. Regarding the social action piece of our vision, we expand concepts of mission, which means seeing needs around us as well as caring for our earth and all God's people. Nearly 90% of our Iowa units reported being green. That's exciting. That's exciting. No styrofoam. Yeah. It really is an important thing. And they are. Yes. Please, no styrofoam, and do your best to recycle everything you can. We compost, in fact, here, and that's an important thing. So, and 78% are subscribing to Response. This is the idea of expanding our concept of mission, because Response is where we get the news of what's going on around our whole organization. If we could make that 100%, we would really feel like we really are in tune with each other. So if your unit isn't subscribing, it's $24 for a year's subscription, and your unit ought to be able to support that. But Stephanie loves to have the online edition, and that's half of that price, I think. So anyway, and then in terms of the education interpretation, we reach around the world with our mission dollars. Our personal and unit pledges do amazing things when we pool our resources. So 90% of our reporting units are making a pledge to mission, and those same units are 5-star units, the 5 different areas, all 5 channels of giving. So thank you for that. Then I put in littler print that, unfortunately, mission giving nationally is decreasing dramatically. So please continue to do all you can to support the empowerment of women, children, and youth through United Women in Faith and your giving to mission. I'll mention our mission studies, and then I have another thing I want to talk to you about in terms of giving. So the mission studies for 2022-23, Who Can We Be Together? Several units were able to do that one. The new one, Living in the Kingdom, it's available to you. We introduce it every year. Introduce the new study every year at Mission U. And so if you need to have more information, let us know. In terms of mission giving, presidents, you really do need to champion the pledge service and helping people understand how important that is. E&I coordinators, put things in the newsletters as you can for giving updates. And treasurers, this is something that our conference has decided we're really going to support. In budgeting season, talk with our district and local treasurers about their budgets and confirm that 60% is going to the next level and 40% stays local. I think that's a hard goal, but it's where we need to be. It's where we need to be. I was at a unit, as I told you, I was at a unit this week, and I realized I hadn't really talked to that, but I thought I probably could talk 50-50. That if you're giving $300 to a project locally, make sure you're also giving $300 or I guess that's whether that's 50-50, I don't know. Anyway, we need to talk that we're really supporting mission beyond ourselves and making the mission of United Women in Faith a worldwide effort. So, and anybody who has ideas for new fundraisers, that's where we are today. So ice cream socials, whatever it might be. It may be new vision. So we do believe in that love and action can change the world, and so that's what we are about. Thank you.
Good morning. I'm Nancy Stockdale. I am the Mission U Dean for this year and next. I'm really happy to see so many of you here today who were at our Mission U event in July in Pella. It's good to see all of you again. It was especially good to see everyone after our kind of lengthy 3-year hiatus of in-person Mission U. So we're glad that we're all back together again. You know, I sincerely mean it when I say thanks to the ladies who come and participate. You know, we didn't know it at the time when we were in Pella, but now that all the conferences in the United States have had their Mission U events, I can tell you that Iowa's event was one of the largest in the U.S. Yes, with 144 registrations. So, yeah, we deserve that big hand for that. Another statistic that just floors everybody is that we had over 30 first-timers. Yes. You know, the Mission U Deans from across the country have a Zoom call once a month. And I was on the Zoom call recently, and when I said that we had had over 30 first-timers in Iowa, I actually saw jaws drop. People could not believe it, but I am not a liar. Yeah. You know, I did hear that the West Ohio Conference had 157 Mission U participants. So being just a little bit on the competitive side, I immediately thought, well, we can top that, can't we? So let's work toward beating West Ohio next year. So we're kind of upping the game a little bit. We are going major college next year, Division I. Yeah. So Mission U 2024 will be moving again to a new location. Our event will again be a one-day event on Saturday, July 13th. It will be at, wait a minute, Linda, could you and Jane kind of keep an eye on Lynn and make sure she's okay? Our event will be at Iowa State University in Ames. Is she still breathing? Okay, you're all right, Lynn? Okay. So, we have space reserved in the Sheeman Building, which is between Hilton Coliseum and Stevens Auditorium. It will be easy to find. Iowa State will supply morning snacks and coffee and a catered lunch, just like we're used to. Our study for next year is titled, "The Kingdom Among You, Drawing Closer to God and Each Other." It will be very similar to the study that we had this year, the same type of kind of workbook, study book. The books aren't out yet. They won't be out till around the first of the year, but as soon as they are out, we will let everybody know and start putting out information. But for now, please put the date on your calendars and make plans to attend. You remember, our target is 157 of West Ohio, so I would also ask a couple of things. If any of you have suggestions for good study leaders, let me know, because the next step is securing our leadership for the next Mission U. And also, I'm tinkering around with an idea that involves quilting, which I don't do and I know nothing about. So if any of you would happen to be quilters and can help me out, I would appreciate that as well. And I guess that's all I have, except now that you know you have plenty of time to start planning your Hawkeye outfit to wear to Mission U next year. July 13. July 13. Yes, ma'am. Sure. Correct. What I did with a couple of ladies last year was, there are some other conferences that have a online Mission U, and I got them connected with those conferences. I think one lady joined the Florida Mission U and another Texas or somewhere, I don't remember. So anyway, that's a possibility. Would that work for you? Oh, okay. And there are several conferences that do that with various dates, so you could choose one that would work for you. Okay. Oh, yes. No. This is in person. Yes. Okay. All right. Well, thank you.
Okay, how's that? All right. I'm Bobby Jo Page. I think most of you know me from a lot of different things. I am your social action person for the conference. And I want to start, if you've been by my trifold and information out here, and I've actually captured a few of you already, you'll see a postcard. The national office, I asked for 50, so I certainly want them all gone today. And what I want you to do is, on the back side is what you're signing, and I want you to put your name and address, and then send it to either a superintendent, of course I'm going to have to, a school representative, school board, or maybe a candidate would be interesting to have. The back of it says, remove all police from schools. I know that here in Iowa, Cedar Rapids recently had problems, and I understand Des Moines has had problems. So that may not be a very popular one to have on there. Perhaps I shouldn't say this, but I think you can cross that off. if you feel like that's going to be. Do you all understand, though, why they put that on there? Do you understand that children of color get, that people expect them to act? I just saw myself on the video. This is not good. Well, but you know, people, teachers, principals, they treat children of color differently, and frequently they're younger than how they're treating them. And sometimes children actually in grade school, and I think in preschool maybe, they actually get a police record if there's a policeman in the school system. And we really need to encourage the use of counselors. I know I was told in the Waterloo area that the counselors are used for so many things and taking kids places that they really aren't being used responsibly as a place for children to go to talk to someone that's, you know, that's having troubles. In paddling and other forms of physical punishment, I know folks say, well, that doesn't happen anymore. Well, it obviously does if it's on this list. Direct resources to fully fund counselors, peace builders, eliminate policies and practices that contribute to surveillance, militarism, and criminalization of students. I mean, what student should be getting a police record, you know, in grade school? Really? Stop the arrests and push out of black students, other students of color, LGBTQ, youth, homeless students, and students with disabilities. I have to tell you, my mother had to speak up for me. Because of my height, people thought I should act differently than what I was acting. And being my mother and outspoken, she would say to these people, cool it. She's a kid, leave her alone. So anyway, I mean, it doesn't happen just to our black students. It really did happen to me on a not regular basis. I wasn't that bad. But we also need to encourage or ensure accountability and equitable funding through Every Student Succeed Act, abbreviated ESSA, and IDEA, Individual with Disability Act. They need to be comprehensive plans and accountability. I guess I said that. And then decolonize our history and advance culturally relevant curriculum. We all know that this restriction, I'm sorry, maybe we don't all know, but restriction of books and history is terrible. You know, we need to encourage the use of books for our own understanding. So I want those that will really mail these or take them to your superintendent. Be sure to take one. I expect them all gone by the end of the day. So otherwise I'm going to start, no, but I want them used. Okay. I want to tell you, this is from the national group, our national unit. So I also want to tell you that in January, when I start talking about what my responsibilities are as a social action, besides telling you about the postcard, et cetera, is that my idea for a legislative event in January, which I'm responsible for, it's part of my job, which I'm excited about. My thought is that, you know, units, the subcommittee units, when I helped for 1 year, but it was too far drive after that. I thought, this is nuts. But anyway, I helped with the legislative events, or the legislative process, the whole thing. And if you go to a legislation, it's best to be there at the beginning when the subcommittees are meeting. So that means we need to get started early in January. So my thought, if you'll save January 14th is a Saturday in 2024, my thought is to do a Zoom meeting. I have critters at home. I have to be there in the winter. So I'm thinking like from 10 to 11:30 on a Saturday. We really had good attendance at our anti-racial meeting this summer or whenever, I guess it was spring. And then on the 16th and the 23rd are 2 following Tuesdays. I would be willing to go down and meet with you. If you see where everybody's walking in on a side, the side of the Capitol, as you walk in, there's security. And then if you just keep going straight ahead, there's some tables and we can meet there and on those 2 Tuesdays. But I have to have your phone numbers so that if sometimes, you know, we might have a bad weather one part of Iowa and not the other. So I need to have that. I've got good roads, but I'm sorry, after 30-some, almost of driving all hours, you know, to work, and there's no option when you're a nurse, you gotta go. And I have critters at home, so I had to be home. So anyway, I'm kind of tired of driving in blizzards, to say the least. I want to share with you a couple of things that are on my church bulletin. The one is the prophet is not an outsider throwing rocks, nor a comforter insider who defends the status quo, but one who lives precariously with 2 perspectives held tightly together in a loving and creative tension, the faithful insider and the critical outsider. I kind of think that sounds like a spiritual action or a social action person. You know, we need to be both. The other one is a quote from Martin Luther King, and it says, if the church does not recapture its prophetic zeal, it will become an irrelevant social club without moral or spiritual authority. And that goes for our group too, I think. We're not a social club. So I want you to be active with your social things that we're looking at in particular are Just Energy for All. You'll see the information. You'll see the information out on the trifold. Just Energy for All, racial justice, mass incarceration, climate justice. So I want you to get involved. And as far as being a social activist, I think you have to have a heart for it. You have to want to be involved. And I would encourage, if you're a United Methodist woman, you're involved, or United Methodist in faith.
That might get me organized. Good morning, Iowa Conference, United Women in Faith. This is a beautiful place. You may not see it from where you're sitting, but this is a fabulous place. Thanks for hosting us. This is wonderful. Doris, I haven't thought about FHA since I was the president of the Red Oak Future Homemakers of America in 9th grade. We had these like ruffly red aprons that we wore. Like, why? Our color was red, okay, but a ruffle, I mean, yeah, I just like, whoa. And my family still kind of chuckles when they remember that I do have a degree in home ec. It's just like, huh, really? Anyway. I don't know what happened to me. Anyway, that was a blast from the past. Okay, I'm going to have some slides. Okay. Hopefully you can see those. Is it close enough? Close enough you can see the slide. I know. I talk with my hands. The microphone's going to go here. The clicker's going to go here. Sorry about that. All right. Okay, so my name is Becky Herron. I'm from Toledo. I serve as secretary of the North Central Jurisdiction United Women in Faith. I am excited to share with you some details about our quadrennial event coming up next spring in Indianapolis. How many of you out here have been to Assembly? Oh, quite a lot. How about one of the quadrennial events, the North Central Jurisdiction? Not as many. Would you say that those were cool things to do? Yes. I don't hear you. Yes. Oh, okay, I thought so. Yeah, if you've ever been or if you've heard about it, it's kind of like getting to a higher level, and you just don't want to come home sometimes. It's just so cool to be with all these other women who were kind of marching to the same tune, and it's just a wonderful thing. So the quadrennial event is in 24, and then the next assembly will be in 26. So every 2 years, there's one or the other of them. So that's what's going on. And then, so the North Central Jurisdiction is 10 states, kind of in the Midwest, from the Dakotas over to Michigan. And so we're kind of in the middle of all that. We hope you join us in living into John 13:34, where we share love with each other when we get together. Everything takes place in downtown Indy at the Sheraton City Center Hotel. And I would ask, when you make your hotel reservations, please use only either the link, if you're doing it online, that we provide to you, or the phone number that we give you, and make your reservation under the North Central Jurisdiction. And it's actually United Methodist Women, because when we made the contract, that's what we still were. So don't worry about that. Our team has negotiated special rates with the hotel for the rooms. And if you use a third-party booking site, that may jeopardize our contract. So we do ask, we got a pretty good deal on the rooms. So just go, when you get to that point, use that link that we give you. Okay, so this is something we're trying. Many times, the day before assembly or the North Central event, we have an Ubuntu day of service. And those are great, and I've gone to all of them that I could get myself to, and we've done some really great experiences doing service. This year, we're trying something a little different. We're going to have a soul care retreat instead of the Ubuntu. So the soul care retreat will actually be on the Thursday, starting at noon. The event starts on Friday morning. So if you can get there a day early and would like to do the experience, the soul care retreat, that's something that National is really putting some resources into, helping us take care of ourselves a little better and do it in a place with sisters. So for an extra $75, you can register for Thursday's soul care retreat, featuring interactive, hands-on activities that may include creativity, like poetry, painting, or coloring, or creative writing. Sensory practices like healthy eating, movement, yoga, something to take care of our bodies. Spiritual reflection, like journaling and meditation, all while connecting with your sisters in a safe community. You will learn why self-care is not selfish. Space is limited, so you want to register soon for that. We have all experienced the power of love and action in unity with sisters in our faith community. When we get together, we'll be expanding that community, not just in your own circle or your own unit or your district or even the Iowa Conference, we'll be expanding that across the Midwest. So together, we can do more and be more. Okay, so here's a couple of our headliners that we will be presenting that weekend. You will be blessed to hear all of the speakers that we have on tap. We have Garlinda Burton, who's a deaconess, and she'll be sharing a powerful message of racial justice. We have Amanda Powell, and some of you might recognize her. She has been the music director for Leadership Development Days and other big events, and she is very talented, and she's an amazingly wonderful person. Also, besides these two, we'll be hearing from our United Women in Faith General Secretary and CEO, Sally Bonner, who we met on the video a little earlier. And then our national president, Rita, I'm not going to say her name right, Anise Isamau. Is that even close? Close enough, okay. So she's our national president of United Women in Faith. And we have the honor of hosting our regional missionary, Grace Musaka, and she'll be joining us in person, and she'll be coming from Africa. So you just don't want to miss. I mean, where else are you going to do that? And on Sunday morning, our worship service is going to be led by our own Bishop Kenitha. So if you didn't have a reason before, now there's a few. Okay, we're going to have a little something for everyone, including time to pray and listen and learn and engage. And you can see all the different options there that will be interspersed throughout the Saturday and Sunday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. We're even going to be throwing a party, a celebration. I'm calling it Saturday Night Fun Night. And that will be, you know, we've had some years and months of just distress and feeling disconnected. So that's why the get together theme, we're gonna get together, we're gonna be together, we're gonna like, oh yeah, this is fun. This is fun doing stuff together. And so that is something. Okay, one of the other main things we'll be doing is elections. And later this afternoon, during the business meeting, we'll be electing our 4 delegates to represent Iowa to be voters for the national directors and alternates, as well as the new jurisdiction leadership team. If you're not involved in the election, don't worry. You don't have to watch the elections like we used to. We're going to have some cool breakouts. For example, how to write an op-ed, or a book review, or a bingo, scavenger hunt. We've got all kinds of other things if you're not part of that electing. Registration is open now. We've tried to make this event affordable and provide value for your experience. 2 meals are included, and if you register before the end of next month, it's $40 off. We hope, we hope everybody who wants to go will be able to go. So the Iowa Conference, partnering with the North Central Jurisdiction, are offering 17 scholarships to cover those early registration fees. We have some scholarship forms there. There's a table right behind the wall here. Wouldn't you rather go if you knew someone was paying that $225 for you? Hey, how about that? How can you turn that down? We really want these 17 scholarships to all get used. We're hoping to do like 3 per district at least. Linda and I and Patty are on the committee. Those are due by the end of this month, so we can get you in to register before that early deadline. Okay, so please, if you're even thinking about it, sign up for that, and you won't regret it at all. Okay. One of the highlights at the North Central Jurisdiction event will be, we're going to have a display area. Each conference is going to get to design a space to showcase what's unique to their region. And so then you can kind of travel around and see what's building connections around the jurisdiction. We're also going to have a prayer room that will be open most of the time, and a reading program, book exchange. There's so many things, I can't tell you all of them, but you just have to come and see for yourself. Ladies, start your engines. Here's the website you can go to. There's on the front page, a little button says register now, and boom, you're in. Let me know if you have any other questions. I hope to see you in Indy.
All right. Oh yeah, very expansive for me. Okay, so I'm clearly not Rita Carter. She is joining us live stream today and has entrusted me with her message. So Rita, this one's for you. Rita Carter is our program advisory group Iowa representative to national office and has been for the last 4 years. So she sends these words to us today. I wish I were here with you in person instead of watching virtually today. But I decided to err on the side of caution and stay home after exposure to COVID on Wednesday. Much appreciation to Linda for this chance to share. I know that seems a little odd because I'm Linda. But this is my final annual meeting in my role as member of National Program Advisory Group of United Women in Faith. And I really wanted to be with you. But isn't that the way it goes? We work hard, we plan hard, then something happens. And so we adapt the plan the best way we can and move forward. And that's also the way United Women in Faith, that's also the way of United Women in Faith. We've all seen plenty of changes in these last few years. I began serving as part of United Methodist Women under the leadership of Harriet Jane Olsen when we held the first ever virtual meeting because of COVID. And now almost all national meetings are virtual. You have probably joined me in many Zoom meetings and online webinars since, as we faithfully found new ways to do our work. Now we all face changes in the United Methodist Church and the disaffiliations that mean saying goodbye to our friends. But we have new organizational name with new resources being offered both virtually and in print. There is an all-access online membership opportunity. The Digital Mighty Networks offers a new way of members to connect. We work on new learnings and actions to impact the school-to-prison pipeline and climate change injustices. The reading program offers new books to explore what we now access in different ways. Mission from the field events help us to see who benefits from our giving. The newly designed soul care retreats reach out to other women and also nurture members. The United Women in Faith will have a presence in the 2024 General Conference through voting membership and consideration of 4 resolutions that are available on the uwfaith.org website for download. And I'm sure we'll hear more about these plans next year. The list is exciting and growing. Our October Bible verse, Lamentations 3:22 through 23, reminds us that God faithfully renews compassionate love for us daily. We may look back to mourn losses and mistakes, or to celebrate successes and actions and mission work for them. But we must keep continually moving forward in faith as we face future challenges. I'm looking forward to participating in our 2024 North Central Jurisdiction Gathering as my final national event as a PAG member, and also to experience Sally Vonner's vision of our new United Women in Faith. As we are part of a women's organization that is committed to faith, hope, and love in our actions to change the lives of women, children, and youth around the world. Let's keep moving forward. God's love is always with us. And then Ruth wanted to share the liturgical dance from Sally Vonner's installation service that is a representation of the United Women in Faith history.
To minister to the oppressed, to heal the sick, to organize for justice, to mobilize for a mission. This was the call of the Holy One, the call to the first United Women in Faith, the call that women could make a difference, the call at the beginning. The beginning. The beginning as 8 brave women gathered in Boston. The beginning when hearing of struggling girls in India and knowing a woman doctor and woman educator were needed. The beginning when those women inspired hundreds more to join as one and changed history. These women and the generations that followed felt the Spirit of the Lord upon them, and they responded with action. They acted to lift the lives of women, children, and youth. They acted to educate a denomination. They acted to fight for racial and climate justice. They acted so the power of Women United would be felt around the world. Isabella Thoburn, Belle Harris Bennett, Mary Scranton, Teresa Hoover, Lois Dowey, Inelda Gonzalez, Kyungza Yim, Clara Esther. In 1869, a calling was heard. In 1939, that calling grew. In 1972, hundreds of thousands of women became officially one. In 2023, we stand tall as a sisterhood with hope for the future. For over 150 years, brave women shone their light brightly so that today we might shine ours. Because they knew and we believe that love and action can change the world. Faith, hope, love, faith, hope, love, faith, hope, love, faith, hope, love, faith, hope, love.
All right, we're up to the keynote speaker, and I am honored to introduce you to Ruth Farmer. She was a participant in our Alaska mission trip, and she's going to bring stories from that adventure to us. And so as she comes forward, I want to ask her, Ruth, how are you feeling today?
I'm feeling a little nervous.
Okay, so what's your goal for today?
To get through this.
And lastly, who's going to help you achieve this goal today? All right.
Because you're going to give me grace. Now, that was one of the things we did in Alaska. So she represented one of our worship services. So just a piece of it. If I can get all this, put it back in my pocket so I have all these wires everywhere. Okay. So, I just need to share a little bit about how this even came about. I don't know if you know, mission trips are supposed to happen every 4 years. Well, we were in Costa Rica, and somebody said, well, where do you think you want to go next? We had just had this study, and it was Native American conferences, and I wanted to go to Alaska. So I said, well, how about Alaska? So I think Gladys and Linda took that on and maybe went with it. So I know this was not easy because COVID hit, and we all know what happened to life as we know it after that. What was it, 6 years after that, 7? This mission trip happened. So thank you to those guys that planned and everybody else that had a hand in this. I'm delighted to share a part of it because it was very special to me. I had planned to go on another mission trip all along the last many years. The deadline came up last August to make the payment for going, and my husband was in the midst of his cancer treatments, and I just said, no, I'm not gonna go. My husband was like, no, sign up, go, we'll just see what happens. I said, no, I need to be here. Fast forward to May, a dear friend, Lynn, asked me to breakfast one day, and she said during that time, what do you think about Alaska? I said, well, I knew she was going, so I know you're going to have a great time. She said, well, how would you like to go? I was like, well, I didn't sign up. Jim was sick. He did pass away in December. I said, there'll be another time. She said, no, I would like you to go in my place. Wait a minute. Okay, what? She said, well, I have breast cancer, and I would like you to go in my place because I'll be doing treatments. And I said, well, I would be thrilled to go, but not for this reason. But we called the travel agency, and they worked on all the plans. I found out a week, 7 days before we were going that I had an airline ticket. So, God works in crazy ways. You never know, okay? So, it was meant to be. We have a slideshow that I tried to get as many pictures as I could on here. She only gave me so much time to express 11 days worth of mission trips. So, this might be fast, or I will just skip some stuff. We were hosted by Anchor Park Church in Alaska, in Anchorage. Wonderful hosts because they are so used to having lots of mission teams, and we were just showered with love. We flew in to Anchorage with that scenic mountain view on United flights. My group, who was 6 of us, our flights were pretty well on schedule, so we came in on time. The other group of 8, they, I think, went all over the country. Almost New York or New Jersey to San Francisco. We were supposed to be Denver. So anyway, they got in a lot later than we did. So we never really got a team group shot. This is actually at one of the first mission sites. We got a group shot. So that shows you the 14 group members that were there. Here is when we got to Anchor Park Church. They had sleeping rooms for us. I was blessed with one that had blackout on the windows, so we could sleep at night pretty normally. The other room had their sleeping masks to wear because they had blinds that really didn't do anything. We were there at a time frame where it's light all but 4 hours, but we stayed up sunset, and we got up early one day. I don't think it was ever dark. So just to let people know. They also provided a prayer chapel. Kind of hard to see here, but they had lots of things that we could use to go in and have our own private devotions or pray about some of the things that we were experiencing. So they had a very good site for us. This picture, the middle bottom, is the one in the white. She kind of drove us around that first night with the 6 of us. Most everybody went to bed, but Amanda and I stayed up to go pick up the others at the airport with her. And she went a little early so we could do a little sightseeing. And we went to Earthquake Park. And the ledge here, the cliff, that used to have lots of houses. The big earthquake in '65 destroyed the whole area there. And it was really neat to see and get the explanations. The picture to the left of that animal, we were driving and I said, whoa, 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 back up. There's a donkey back there. Okay, I don't know anybody else, but I was expecting a moose to have these things, you know? And I said, there's a donkey. And then it's like, that isn't a donkey. So anyway, we saw a moose, Amanda and I. And needless to say, nobody else the whole trip saw a moose. We even went moose hunting every available moment we had so that everybody else could see it. No moose. So, yeah, that was just a little joke for us. This other picture, the postcard that I took, that was very impacted me. I had no idea. They showed us that when you talk about Alaska, you put your hand up like this with the two tails, and this is the main part of Alaska. I had no idea if you lay it over the top of the United States, east to west, it's that wide, north to south, it's that tall. We were in maybe a little part of Texas, of Alaska. So, you know, you're getting just a small perspective of what Alaska looks like. Our first day that we actually went to a mission site was the Every Nation Church, and they have a Samoan congregation that worships there too. It's also the Alaska Conference Center, so there's a lot of things in this one small building. They have a very nice sanctuary that we were in. We met the Pastor Crooks and Shivy, who's actually a deaconess, his wife, and their two wonderful children. The oldest daughter played the piano the whole time while I was inside doing mission work, and the youngest one helped us paint. So we got to know them. The other pastor is the Samoan pastor, Tafu, I think is how you pronounced it. And it says Fata Fa, but that's not what they call him. They call him Tafu. So he gave us, along with Pastor Crooks, a very interesting perspective on the area, the tribes, the history, how the heck you mission to all of this plethora of people that need help. It's not just Alaskans that are there. I had no idea there were so many other countries coming in, Russia, Samoa, just all these things. Just to get a perspective, just the Anchorage School has 89 languages that they have to translate. I work in a school system, and we have 3 or 4. So that tells you how many different cultures and customs they have to intertwine and not step on toes and, you know, include everybody. We did an orientation there in their sanctuary, learning about all kinds of things. It was kind of humbling to know some of the things that they're going through, that they had gone through in the past. This study was very good about telling what we maybe did wrong and what they're trying to do to correct things there now so that we're not taking away from their worship and their way they do things and trying to include it. This sanctuary had a lot of cracks and things in it from earthquakes, which I had no idea that they have earthquakes multiple times a day. Somebody brought up their phone and they're like, yeah, we've had maybe, I don't know, several today. We just had one 2 minutes ago. You know, the one that we was biggest that day, we said that must have been the pothole we were in that we thought was, you know. So we did lots of things there. We also, when we left, there was a magpie. I thought that was very beautiful, but it's bigger than a crow. and they were around everywhere. So I just had to get a picture of that. We went to lunch and then came back. And this kind of shows different things we were doing. They had garden plots, flower beds, things on the inside that needed done. This one picture is me and another person were doing the earthquake cracks. I don't come from construction. I just watch my son who is in construction and see him mudding and taping and spackling, and it's like, I can do that. Let's Google it and see how to do it. So you couldn't tell there was an earthquake crack there really when we left. Other people were outside trimming trees, picking up sticks. I mean, there was just all kinds of things. We also that night were blessed with going out to eat. At the church, we could make breakfast. A lot of times we had a sack lunch we fixed to take with us, and then we would usually either eat out or go back to the church and fix supper. This restaurant, it's called Arctic Roadrunner, and it was right next to a creek that was really fast flowing and full because they'd had a lot of rain, but the food was awesome. I mean, the fish there was halibut and salmon and just all kinds of things. So really good. We went back the second day. There was a window that needed repaired. So, of course, all this is being done in the rain. It was not very nice weather the whole time we were trying to work. They did what they could with the window, more weeding, more planting flowers, kind of putting life back into some of the area and making them feel valued when they came to the center. We also patched walls. You know how chairs sometimes hit walls or you drop something and there's a little dent. We filled in things, repainted, cleaned walls, helped pack up the pastor's study and the kitchen because he, July 1st, was moving to his next pastorage, which actually was Anchor Park as an associate. So we helped in many ways there. Again, the raised flower beds to the right, you see what they look like, and there were like millions of dandelions. I don't know, they must do something. yeah, lots of weeds. But then on the left, you see the clean beds. Very, gives them a little bit of hope that they can do things. The couple people that were working on the light fixture, you know how United Methodist people are and women in faith. When something needs to be done, you figure out a way. Okay, this light fixture was broke. They don't sell that anymore. Can't replace it. So these two ingenious people decided to get plexiglass and some electrical tape and put it back up, and if you didn't know it was a problem, it looked, the wide silver stuff on it, it looked like the other fixtures. We did what we could. See if we can get to the next one here. Okay, that particular day, we didn't know if we were going to talk to anybody from the Native Alaskan Birthing Center program, and God works things out, and we had a little bit of time to talk to this woman. Amy was so enthusiastic and positive about her program. I can see why people just, are magnetized to her and want to help. She helps people that, say you're in a village way out, has no medical care, and you have a baby coming. They bring people into the Native Alaskan hospital there, house them, and give them care. Of course, nobody usually comes with you. I can't imagine having a baby. I had my husband at least, But they have a doula, which probably all of you know what that is. I didn't. A doula is kind of like a midwife, but really on the more advocate social side, and she goes to all your appointments with you. She helps you in the, when you're giving birth, the after, what do you need and what resources can I get? I'm going home and I don't have anything. I don't have a crib. I don't have diapers. I don't have clothes. And this program helps these women do, get the things that they need so that they can go back home. She had so many figures and so many numbers. I wish I could have recorded it because I couldn't write all that down. But they come possibly up to 4 months at a time. Now, can you imagine being away from your village, your tribe, your people, your family, by yourself for 4 months? So this is a great program. I didn't know ahead of time enough, but several of the women had packed things to donate to the program, for breastfeeding, the pads, the newborn clothing, some diapers, and just various things. So very good program. We Saturday got to go on one of our sightseeing days, which the weather was beautiful. I don't know why it rained every time we tried to work. We got to go downtown. There was an artisan Solstice Festival. We had an artisan show that we went to, saw all kinds of Native American crafts. It was wide things from jewelry to artwork, some people that design fabric and jewelry and just all kinds of things. While we were down there, we all kind of split up in different groups, but you can see on the right is the Iditarod kind of memorial for the dog race. They have that there. I actually saw one of the dogs. They had a puppy on the sidewalk. After talking to the person, you can't get a puppy in the state of Alaska. And I was like, why? Well, every puppy is trained to ride and do the sleds, so you can't get a puppy. You have to go out of state to get a puppy. So this person had got a puppy in Colorado, I think, and brought it back. So very interesting. Flowers, lilacs, it was just really wonderful there because they'd had so much rain. So lots of color everywhere and beautiful sights. We went to worship on Sunday at the host church, Anchor Park. Of course, the pastor was on vacation, and one of the lay people, Susan, who actually drove us the first night, was the one that was giving the message. And she gave about the Alaska Conference recap, and that was very informative for us. But they have a beautiful sanctuary there. We next, that afternoon, went to Alaska Child and Family. That was our second mission area. We had kind of an orientation around this form of labyrinth on the right picture there. And I don't know if any of you have taken part in a labyrinth before. I've seen them on paper and stuff, but she did such an awesome job. Kelly, who is the worship coordinator for this program, of explaining it and talking us through and having quiet time and darkness to walk through this. It was very meaningful for me, and I know a lot of others thought it was very special. She also shared about what some of the residents are going through. We were not to approach them because I wouldn't know if this person is a trauma victim or, whatever their issue is, I don't know how to relate to them, so we were never to approach them. If they approached us, that was fine, you could talk. A lot of good information, though. Kelly is in the left top picture there, kind of standing with her arms there. She, again, like Amy, was so enthusiastic, just like a magnet of trying to understand you and where you're coming from, how you can help, what you can do on this mission trip. Vital person for that program. So. We went outside and actually had another group picture. This is just outside of the gym that we were meeting in. And this place, if you took this study, it talks about the Jesse Lee home. Excuse me. And this is one of the original areas. Benny Benson was one of the residents many years ago, and they put out a contest for them to design the territorial flag, the first territory flag of Alaska. And he actually won the design. So they kind of have an honor wall there, and people get to take their pictures with his little sign there. So they also always celebrate July 9th. So you wonder, this is a laundromat. Wonder why the heck would I put that in there? Okay, I had 1 week to pack what goes in, because you had one carry-on. Okay, this lady, a pair of jeans rolled up, you know, that takes a lot of luggage space. I'm sorry, I'm not tiny. I had no room. But God again figured out how to make room to have some souvenirs come back. So, we shared a washing machine. Linda and I actually shared a washing machine. Put it in, you know, we got so much time. Let's go sit and talk, read a book, whatever, visit. Time's done. We both get up. I go over and I open the washing machine. There's nothing in it. Our laundry is gone, Linda. Somebody took our clothes. Linda's like, yeah, right. You know, she goes and thinking it's going to be stuck in the top or something, you know. No, there was nothing in the washing machine. There were 2 or 3 on this side. Here's ours, and 2 or 3 on this side. None in any of them. So we're thinking, okay, somebody else in the group was nice enough to take our laundry out and put it in a dryer, you know. Start asking around. No, we didn't take your stuff. Why would we put your stuff in a dryer? And then I'm standing there, I'm like, there's my shirt. You know, it's spinning around in a dryer. And Linda's just saying, there's my t-shirt. Some guy had like 5 washing machines, and he just unloaded the whole row of stuff, and it's all in the dryer with all of his. So I don't know about anybody else, but it was a little awkward saying, can we go through your laundry? Boxer short, that's yours. Bra, that's mine. Underwear's yours, you know, vice versa. Okay, I never found 3 bras, several underwear, a pair of shorts, a shirt. She didn't find similar things. God made a plan to have some space in my luggage, you know? You never know how it's going to work. So I just had to put that in to have the fun. So Monday was another day we got to go touring. Got up really early, took a train ride from Anchorage to Seward. Beautiful scenery again. Saw lots of wildlife, goats, bears, never a moose again, but beautiful scenery on the way. And then we were to take a catamaran. This catamaran, which I had no idea what a catamaran is. Maybe there's other worldly people that know, but anyway, it's this boat on the top right, 3 layers maybe, and in the front has these railings that you can stand. I forgot to take Dramamine, so, along with like 2 or 3 others, and when we're getting on, well, if you forgot to take, you know, anything for sickness, then you better stand in the front of the boat. Well, I decided I'm going to stand in front of the boat the whole time. Thank goodness I did. The backside had a lot of people up chucking over the backside. So I was glad that I was out in the air. But we saw beautiful things. God's world is just awesome. The top picture there, the other one, you wonder what the heck that is. Well, it's sea lions sunbathing. 1 or 2 would actually raise their head and kind of flap, you know, like hi. So we knew, but from miles away, you just thought it was dirt. We saw a mama bear and her 2 cubs playing on the beach there. We saw whales, we saw glaciers, we saw otters, puffin birds, these dolphins that just swim so fast nobody could get a picture. Just lots of beautiful, beautiful stuff. I, of course, you know, one thing in the luggage, they said, take a winter coat, take a mittens and hats and hiking boots. Okay, how heck am I supposed to put all this in this little carry-on? So I didn't take most of that. I had a little vest and my hooded sweatshirt. So there I am, but this part of my face was like frozen because it was very cold. But we got within a quarter of a mile of the glacier, and maybe a lot of you have seen a glacier, I hadn't. The bottom picture there shows when you get close to a glacier and all the ice chunks, and I thought all those brown spots was just dirt. And the guy's like, well, look close. We get up closer, and those are mama sea lions having their babies. And one of them, actually, the mama was close enough you could see the little baby, and she, you know, they have to learn quickly, so she shoves it in the water, and they sink or swim like ducks. So I didn't know that's where they have their babies. So very interesting, but beautiful, beautiful the whole time there. The next day, we came to the third site that we were at. This is Maplewood campus. They don't call it the girls' campus or the boys' campus, but this is actually where the girls are housed for the Alaska Child and Family. Again, we were not to approach people. Her comment was, this isn't a zoo, which I'm like, what? But, you know, we're not here to watch the animals. We're here to help, which made sense. Again, the flower beds did not look like flower beds at all. Their dirt is not like our dirt. We found like 1 million rocks. So we cleared flower beds, we did raspberry bush trimming, trimmed trees, raked, we cleaned a gazebo that is their worship center that they do outside, transplanted flowers, moved things. We also were able to have a sweat lodge experience. And this particular experience included their customs. They had 4 parts to it. She kind of talked us through, and they do different worship parts of it. The first one is drain away anything that we felt we needed to shed. Negativity, self-doubt, control, big one for most of us humans. The next one was praying for others. Spent a lot of time on that. Third one was gratitude. You know, what are you thankful for today? Fourth was, what are we going to take away from this experience? And what are we going to do moving forward? They kind of take north, south, east, west parts of their Native American culture and tie it into the experience of worship. Very informative. We went back to Maplewood, the girls' campus, just for the morning the next day. Finished up, planted a lot of flowers. You see a difference in that flower bed. There's actually things in it, and it was so colorful when we left. The girls were in the family room area inside. I had to go in and use the bathroom, and I went in, and I'm a nut for crafts, card making, any craft, and they were doing something at this living room gathering area, and I probably was wrong, and oh, you're crafting, that's really cool. And they were cutting out flowers and coloring. I said, that looks like fun. Little did I know, which there's examples on the table out there, they were making thank you cards for all of us. And, you know, we couldn't approach them. They didn't talk to us. They knew we were there. They knew we were sharing with them. The worship center, the gazebo, we were hoping to stain and paint that. It was raining the whole time, but we potted plants and cleaned it up. So a lot of good work there. Then we went to the other campus, which is the boys' campus. And again, it's pouring down rain. They wanted us to weed. So we have 4 or 6 weed eaters. Of course, they're smoking like mad because it's raining and it's wet. We dug flower beds that didn't look like flower beds, trimmed trees again, just did lots of work. Kelly is standing in front of the flag or the state there and shows all the different tribes that are represented. They have many other sects in each of those tribes. So it's just a huge amount of organizing for her too. We also experienced everyday worship services. One of them was a drumming ceremony. She was very good about having all these different drums and telling us about them, telling history, what they're used for, and then we experienced a drumming ceremony, which, to give you an idea, it's like us being here today. We all come from different places. We're all in a different thing emotionally, spiritually, but today is never going to happen again. This gathering is never going to have the same people, the same place that you're at emotionally. And it was a very good service again. Here's some of the ending things. We, of course, dug so many rocks. We decided, what can we do with rocks? We left an imprint for them made out of rocks, Iowa Loves You, and they had it on their website right away. Flower beds that actually had color to it, and another picture with some of the administrative team with us from the camp. The last day, we got to go to the Native Alaskan Cultural Center, and some of you may have been there before. We're very good about explaining different tribes and what they live in, how they use what their environment has, whether it's wood or, different things, stones, whatever, to make their homes. They did some dance, drumming. They did some exercise things and showed us what games kids play, but it's actually learning and teaching them how to jump from ice chunk to ice chunk and get sea lions, how they have games to teach them how to hunt for whales. It was very informative. It shows you a few of the type houses they live in. That bottom one that has the tower, that is where they keep their meat. But you always hide the ladder. You never have the ladder near that because my neighbor might come over and steal my meat. It's not stealing to them because, it was available. So, coming home, we all crammed in 2 vans with all of our luggage, again, in vehicles, and come home. It's interesting to know that these residents, what they're trying to do with them is so many faceted. They're trying to help them with the relationship with their father, capital F, father, but also trying to rebuild relationships with their other father, the lowercase father, and family. Some of them come from homes that are, drug abuse, alcohol, physical abuse, emotional abuse, just a whole plethora of things that they were telling us about. And they are doing worship and study groups and recreational things to try and help them build relationships. You might ask, how can we make a change here? Well, you can do the same thing that we did. You can change the kingdom here, just as we did. We did it by pulling weeds, planting flowers, giving smiles, painting something, patching something, picking up sticks, trimming trees, praying. There's a whole gamut of things you can do. So you can do it right here, whether you go on a mission trip or not. I would say if you get a chance to go on a mission trip, though, go. Take advantage of it and be a part of this type of experience. The ones that went, can you stand up so they know how many others are here? Because they could give a lot of information too. But none of them volunteered to do this. I don't know why. Thank you.
All right, I stand before you as Linda Blazek Garvin again now instead of Rita Carter. It is the time that you're going to get up and move. I know you've been sitting, and I appreciate your attention to all of the officer information or leadership team information you've heard. And Ruth, I forgot to say in your introduction that I could not have asked for a better co-pilot of the 15-passenger van that I drove around Anchorage. She not only managed to get everyone out of the van without incident, back into the van without incident, but she and I know how to count to 14. So, we're going to go to breakout now, and those of you on live stream, you're going to have an hour-and-a-half break right now, and you'll join us back later. But here in person, we are going to go to our breakout sessions, which includes spiritual growth. That's going to be led by Doris Strait. That's in the Arts Center, which is on the upper level. Then there's Soul Care. That's going to be led by Lynn Calvert. That also is on the third level in room 317. And then social environmental issues are going to be led by Bobby Joe Page. That's going to be in the choir room. That's on this main level across the, yep, thank you for the direction, because I'm like, which way is it? It's across the entrance on that hallway down there. And then trauma-informed care is going to be led by Gladys Alvarez, and she's going to be on the lower level in room 117. And I know it says 12 or 11:30. Please feel free to take 10 minutes to get there, because I know everybody probably needs to get a bottle of water, or the ladies' room, and they have changed the men's room to ladies' room also today, so hopefully no lines. So if we can start breakout leaders about 1:45 or so. And then our lunch will not start until 12:15 or so. And the lunch is going to be down on the lower level in the Wesley room. There are signs down there as well. And when you get to lunch, there's going to be table cards for the Grace for lunch. That is just a suggestion. If you want to use that one, it's fine. They were all supplied by our very own Doris Strait. And if you want to do your own, that's perfectly fine too. Also during lunch, if you have any time before we all gather back at 1 o'clock here to sing again with Barb and Jan, you can visit the different displays, which is the resource table out there in the Gathering Center. Also, there's a table in the Gathering Center with the NCJ, or the North Central Jurisdiction Scholarship Forums. There's a lovely display of Alaska things that Ruth and I put together out there as well. And then in the hallway, you're going to see a high-top table that has those 150 Next pins on it for the Legacy Fund. And there's information on how you can make a donation and receive one of those 150 Next pins. So with that, I'm going to dismiss you to breakouts, and we will see you back here at 1 o'clock. Barb and Jan will lead us in singing to gather us, and we will have our afternoon session. Thank you.